Welcome everyone to another amazing school year. I'm Miss Montgomery Harris and I am the sixth grade math and science teacher here at Mendenhall Middle School. Thank you for watching my What's Coming Next video series. This video is designed to help you understand what you should expect from your math class this year as an official middle school student. Sixth grade can seem daunting and you may even be nervous, but there's no need when you understand what's coming next. One of the biggest differences between elementary school and entering sixth grade is the expansion of the way students understand the quadrilateral plane. Now, while in elementary school, the focus is primarily on quadrant one, where we have positives and positives. If we look at the diagram, students often arrive at middle school with a strong foundation here. While in sixth grade, we're going to build on that exposure and expand, helping students understand absolute value, number sense, and ratios. By the end of sixth grade, they should have a better concept of number practicality in quadrants 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to break down these subjects with real world applications. But next, I'm going to give you some exposure to all the things that we're going to be going over this coming school year. Before you is the North Carolina Standards for Practical Math. I know presented this way it can seem kind of confusing and maybe even overwhelming, so allow me to provide a focus area overview for sixth grade. This year, we will tackle 5 major domains: ratios and proportional relationships, the number system, expressions and equations, geometry, and statistics and probability. Each standard has additional applications of focus that we'll explore in the following with more details. So ratios and proportional relationships are going to be one of the domains we spend quite a bit of time on. Outside of cultivating young minds, food is a huge passion of mine. Eating the food, trying the recipes, exploring different cultures through my taste buds are one of my absolute favorite hobbies. Using recipes, shopping discounts, and event planning, we can examine the relationship with ratios and proportions. In fifth grade, there's so much focus in fractions. Helping my students understand that fractions, percentages, ratios, and decimals are all closely related will help build upon the fraction foundation laid for them in elementary school. So when discussing our progression of how math changes from elementary to middle school, numbers and operations in base 10 turns into the number system. The number system takes us back to our understanding of working in all the quadrants of the quadrilateral plane. So understanding that positive and negative numbers just represent directionality, the students can see this through real world applications of sports, particularly football and soccer. Khan Academy, which is a program we'll utilize, also has amazing practice problems and scenarios that will help us justify placement and operations with integers. So our next standard is going to be expressions and equations. We're going to be using Socratic questioning by asking, why is this step necessary? In elementary school, operations and algebraic thinking is what turns into expressions and equations. The way I explain this to kids is that in elementary school, they were given problems like 6 plus question mark equals 12. In middle school, we'll switch the question mark with sometimes blank spaces or variables. This will help encourage creating and comparing multiple representations of equations. Students can do this by creating graphs, maps, using algebra tiles to make sure that both sides of the scale are balanced. Geometry is our next standard. So while in elementary grade, students learn to measure length, weights, and volume and collect that data. This helps to build on interpreting and analyzing more complex data sets once they get to geometry in middle school. Elementary school begins with shape identification and properties. So what's happening next in middle school is the progressing into area, surface area, and volume, especially as we get into the later grades. A key part of sixth grade is dealing with real world problems that involve surface area and the volume of 2D and 3D figures. Geometry, like our other domains, leave room for hands-on and tech-integrated learning by using geoboards, 3D models, digital geometry tools like GeoGebra that we will use in class, as well as tangrams, help the students to understand concepts like surface area, perimeter, diameter, and even circumference better. Our last standard is statistics and probability. Measurement and data turns into statistics and probability once you get into middle school. So in elementary, early exposure to data representation grows into an understanding of data distribution, variability, and statistical questions. A distinguishing difference in elementary and in sixth grade is the student's ability to develop understanding of statistical variability and summarize or describe data distributions. Students will need to know how to both plot and interpret data in various graphing scenarios, whether it be line graphs, bar graphs, pie graphs, or plotting points. They will also need to understand patterns, ratios, and percentages as it relates to probability. We can revisit sports analysis, but also complete class polls to get some real world applications on this subject for the students. Now I know what you're thinking. That was quite a bit of information to go over in such a short time period. Luckily, I have about 170 school days to take my time and thoroughly explain these concepts to my eager scholars. Now, to my parents, there are many ways that you can provide support to our classroom. Firstly, thank you for watching this video in its entirety. It lets me know that I already have the village necessary to be successful in my class, especially for my students. We're going to utilize some of the following programs that you'll see here on the screen that will be able to help students both retain and master concepts. Khan Academy, GeoGebra, and iExcel will be some of the things we use while in class. You can also take a look here at our resources, the vertical progression of mathematics through K through 6, and unpacking the standards, which just goes in a little more detail about the standards we viewed on our previous slide. I hope this information was specific and successful and definitely helps answer some of the questions about what to expect with the math in the upcoming school year. I hope we'll have a wonderful year together, and I look forward to this partnership for the overall success of our students. Have a wonderful day.